Hi, I'm Emma, and I'm 16. I used to be quite plump. Not huge, but I bought jeans in the plus-size section. My grandmother said I was big-boned. At school, I was adored for my sense of humor. Everyone liked the fact that I wasn't afraid to be myself and called me the soul of any party. However, no one realized just how much I yearned for love. Real love. I wanted someone to see me as more than just a funny fat girl. By the way, the stories of my past relationships could be used for stand-up. One of my boyfriends literally ran away from me after I got on a bike with him. We started moving and bang! The tire exploded. My next boyfriend vanished after I invited him to a water park. Seriously? It's a great place. Boyfriend number 3 wasn't great at romance either. How about a romantic dinner at McDonald's? He just disappeared. It was like the chicken nuggets kidnapped him. Back then, I thought, that's it. Nobody wants me. I'll be alone forever. But you know, life has a way of surprising you. It all began in spring. There was a talent fair at my school. As usual, I was one of the hosts. It would have been so dull without me. I was joking, commenting on my classmate Justin's strange dance moves, and then I saw him, Jack. He was a high schooler and looked like he had just arrived from a photo shoot. He was as tall as a model, and his smile, OMG. His smile made my knees turn into jelly. I thought he wouldn't notice someone like me, but Jack approached me first. You're the funniest host I've ever seen. Thank you. Self-deprecating jokes are my superpower. We got to chatting right there while someone was yelling the school anthem in karaoke, off-key. From that day on, Jack started texting me. He invited me to a cafe, then to a picnic. I once mentioned that I hated chocolate, and he remembered and brought me a carrot cake. We had fun, went comic book shopping. I felt like I was in a movie. It was the first time I felt beautiful. I wasn't just a funny girl. I was someone loved. Mom said I was glowing. Just so you know, my mom was very perceptive. But then Catherine crashed into our lives, my stepsister. She was 2 years older than me, and she was studying at a music college in another state. Catherine was my dad's daughter from his first marriage. If you think it sounds like the beginning of a Netflix series, you're right. We got along fine and texted each other once a month or so. She was there because she got into the finals of a huge music competition. She wrote songs, performed them, and was pretty good at it. Really, she sounded like Ariana Grande. Catherine temporarily moved in with us. Of course, I was glad, but it all went wrong when I introduced her to Jack. Oh, by the way, do you want to meet my sister? Sure, why not? Great, she's at our house. It was evening. Catherine was sitting in the living room, playing the guitar and singing some sad but cool song. Jack walked in, and as soon as he saw her, his eyes, well, you know, it was like he had seen Rihanna herself. And then he listened to her like they were the only people in the room. He smiled, asked her questions, and she was like, I'm not looking for a boyfriend, so if you fall for me, don't blame me. Meanwhile, I was left standing there with a burrito in my hand like a useless prop. Jack texted me the next day. Catherine is so interesting. You don't look alike, but you're both great? Both great? Both of us? Seriously? I tried not to worry. I told myself, Emma, you're strong. You have a great sense of humor and style, and a carrot cake. But then I noticed that Jack was texting Catherine more often than he texted me. Whenever I opened Instagram, I saw his likes under all her posts. It felt like everything inside me was shrinking. It reminded me of my ex's bike, except this time, it wasn't a tire that burst, but my heart. One day, the three of us went to the beach. I put on my favorite swimsuit and was looking forward to some fun, sunshine, and romance. But in the end, all I could do that day was watch. Let me help. Thank you. They walked side by side, chatting about music, guitars, and some festivals. Do you like Bon Iver? Of course. His guitar works like therapy to me. I didn't understand a word they were saying. Who's Bon Iver? What was I even doing there? They laughed at some inside jokes, discussed concerts, and exchanged playlists. Jack didn't even spare me a glance. I tried to convince myself that I was being paranoid, but something inside me was whispering, Jack is falling in love, but not with you. The next day, I asked Jack if we could talk. Jack, don't you think you're spending too much time with Catherine? She's so interesting. You know, we're both crazy about music. Just interesting? I felt like tearing my hair out, but I just nodded and left without a word. Everything inside me was screaming. And then we went to a party. I dressed up like never before. That day, I wanted to feel like a queen. I wanted Jack to only look at me, but then I saw them dancing. There wasn't anything romantic about it, but I felt betrayed anyway. At that moment, I decided enough was enough. Catherine was getting ready for the festival finals. They were important to her as Olympics are to athletes. According to the rules, only original music could be used. She was recording her songs on a flash drive, and I stole it. I deleted all of her music and downloaded some random songs instead. On the morning of the festival, I watched Catherine run around in a panic. Where's my music? Could it be a glitch? She looked at me with tears in her eyes like it was the end of the world. But it was only her world that was collapsing. I felt like a winner. I didn't see her for several days. She kept trying to prove to the festival organizers that it was all a mistake, but it didn't work. Catherine all but disappeared from my life, and I got Jack back. We went on walks again. I was on cloud 9 because I felt wanted again. But then Jack started to ask questions. Where's Catherine? Why was she so sad? Do you know anything? I lied to him. She's just tired. She's busy. She probably needs some space. But at some point, Jack gave me a really serious look. Emma, are you sure she's okay? And then I snapped. Why are you always talking about her? You traitor! You looked at her like she was the best thing that happened to you while I was right there. You fell for her because she's slim, quiet, and special. And I'm just a funny fat girl, right? He didn't answer my question right away and just looked at me. Emma, you see enemies where there are none. And then he left. I was left to enjoy my victory alone. And you know what? It was the hollowest victory of my life. For a couple of days, I just stayed in my room. I didn't eat or make jokes. I didn't even cry. All I did was stare blankly at the ceiling and look at the old photos of Jack. Emma, won't you at least go for a walk? Sure I will, once I feel human again. And then Catherine came. She didn't know I betrayed her. Are you okay? You seem kind of out of sorts. I spilled everything. Words flowed like a tsunami. Weeping, I told her it all. Well, almost. I didn't mention the flash drive. Stay strong. I know you're hurting. I'll help you. Let's make you slim while I'm here for the summer, and Jack will come crawling back. Really? The summer was hellish. Diets, workouts, morning runs, oatmeal, or as I called it, cement slurry. You're a tiger, and tigers don't eat buns. They don't eat salads either. I even argued with the refrigerator. Why are you tempting me with ice cream, you bastard? Sometimes I secretly ate cookies at night. Then I would sit on the floor in tears and Google how to burn 300 calories in 3 minutes. 2 months flew by. I lost weight, a lot of it. I almost didn't recognize myself in the mirror. Slim waist, cheekbones, confidence. At the end of summer, Catherine went back home. You're a star. Shoot for the sky. And I did. I ran to Jack. He was at a cafe with his friends. Hi, can we start over? He looked at me with surprise, but not with admiration. Emma, you look great, really, but I can't. Why? I've done everything. Everything! For you! Exactly. It was all for me. And he left. For the second time. I had done everything, and it was all for nothing? A couple of days after that, I accidentally met one of my exes, the one who took me for a ride on his bicycle until the tire burst. Emma, wow, you've changed. Yeah, am I cool now? You've always been cool. It's just being with you is hard. Hard because of my weight? Nope, because of everything else. You didn't trust me. You texted me 10 times if I didn't respond in 5 minutes. You got jealous of every girl I talked to, even if it was my second cousin. You controlled everything. It was just a coincidence that I left after the tire burst. It wasn't your figure I was afraid of. It's just that you were like a storm. I was shocked, speechless. That came out of the blue. You know, you were so funny and cool, but I felt like I was suffocating with you. Not because of your body, but because of the anxiety. Those words stuck in my brain like an advertisement I couldn't skip. What if he was right? What if it wasn't my weight that was the problem, but me? I decided to talk to all of my exes. I ran away because the week we became a thing, you constantly checked whose photos I liked, asked for my Instagram password, and made a scene when I said hello to my classmate. But why didn't you come to the water park with me? The water park was the last straw. I was afraid that if I looked at someone with a bikini, you would lose it. Finally, I met the guy who disappeared during our romantic McDonald's date. You called my best friend a nerd you can only discuss chess with right in front of me, remember? And then you called his girlfriend a dusty bookworm. I was just joking. No, you were insulting them to feel better about yourself. I was ashamed of you. I went home without throwing a tantrum or saying anything. I looked at myself in the mirror and saw someone who could only blame herself for her problems. Enough of this. I need to change. But how? Catherine immediately came to mind. She helped me once, and I was sure she could do it again. I told my parents that I wanted to stay with her for a while, quickly packed some clothes, and got on a bus. 4 hours later, I was in the neighboring state. Please help me, not to lose weight. I mean with my personality. Seriously? I want to change, really. and she agreed to help. My second transformation began, except now it wasn't my looks that I wanted to change, but what was inside. I kept a diary of my emotions. Every day I wrote down what I felt, when, why, and how I reacted. You're not going to say anything, even if you really want to. Just look into the person's eyes and listen. That was harder than not eating chocolate. It was the first time I noticed my triggers, why I got angry, what made me jealous, why I shouted, and bit by bit I changed. But one day, when I was listening to music on my laptop, Catherine appeared behind me. Was it really you? I realized I was listening to the songs I had copied to Catherine's flash drive. She figured it out. I didn't mean to. I was jealous. I trusted you. I helped you. But you, how could you? I'm sorry. Go away. Don't come back. She slammed the door in my face. I was left alone. I had nowhere to go. No money in my wallet and an almost dead phone. I desperately wanted to call my parents. Take me home. I ruined everything. But I didn't do it. I knew that if I went back, it would mean I hadn't changed. I wanted the old Emma to stay in the past. That first night, I slept at the train station. I used my hoodie as a blanket and my backpack as a pillow. It wasn't scary. I just had to do it. For the first time ever, I was being rightfully punished. The next day, I tried to get a job at a nearby cafe. I was ready to do anything, even wash the dishes. Leave me a resume. A woman saw me applying for the job. You're not from around here, are you? Did you spend the night here? I nodded. Come with me. I'm running a shelter. If you help, you can stay there. We have soup. That's how I ended up at Mary's place. She helped the homeless, the runaway teenagers, and the elderly who had lost their homes. The house was old, but cozy. At first, I was only cleaning up. I mopped the floors, sorted the clothes, and swept the yard. Then I started to help out in the kitchen. One day, a girl Mary and I were looking after went around the corner, and then just disappeared. I ran down the street like a mad woman. Luckily, I found her near a store. She was looking for a dog she saw in a dream. We were both crying when we got back. I realized how much pain there was in the world, how self-obsessed I had been. You know what was weird? I felt better. It was like taking care of other people helped me stop obsessing over my insecurities and holding grudges. I didn't look at the scales anymore. I didn't wonder, what would Jack think? I just did something useful. One day, I saw an old man slide down a bench on the street. He was drooling and shaking. I rushed to him, called for help, and held his hand until an ambulance arrived. Some passerbys filmed us, but I quickly forgot about it. The next day, I was washing the dishes as usual when I heard the front door slam open. Emma? We saw the video on the internet. What are you doing here? We thought you were at Catherine's. I couldn't go back. I ruined everything. I was terrible. Sweetie, no, Mom. I'm not making any excuses. I was learning to be a human here. I shouldn't have demanded anyone's love until I learned to give it. We drove home in silence. Mom sometimes took my hand into hers. I told them about everything that happened. You know, Emma, beauty is more than just your body. It's the way you treat other people, the choices you make. You could lose weight, dye your hair, and change your clothes. But if you keep getting offended, angry, or jealous, you'll stay miserable. I know, I've learned my lesson. The next day, I came to Jack's place. I wasn't hoping for anything. I just wanted to talk to him. He was sitting by the pool, laughing and video chatting with someone. I saw Catherine's face on the screen. They were joking and smiling. The old me would have gone ballistic. She would have just pounced on Jack with reproaches, hysteria, and insults. But the new me just smiled. Hi, I know I messed up. I'm sorry. I'm not asking you to start over. I just wanted to thank you for everything. I turned around to walk away, but then, surprise! I stood there with my mouth wide open. I knew everything from the very beginning. I forgave you ages ago. I just wanted to know if you were truly ready to change or if you were pretending again. But you did it. I'm proud of you. And then everyone left, and it was just me and Jack. To be honest, I was worried like it was my first time talking to him. But then Jack took my hand into his. This is the real you. That's all I wanted. At that moment, I realized that everything that happened was worth it. Every tear, every mistake. Because now, I was myself. Beauty is inside us. Sometimes you just need to see it.